Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Talk That Tech, the
Number one tech morning show in the world. Good morning.
good morning, and we are live here this morning. Just excited to be back in the room with y'all. There's so much that we could talk about, and we were gonna get to it for sure. So if y'all are tuning in for the first time, let us know where you're tuning in from. Drop it down in the chat, and like always, we will bring it up. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, or even if you're watching on Instagram or another location, I'm going to throw on the ticket so y'all can see it. Go to youtube.com// at talk at tech show. Again, that's youtube.com/ at talk that tech show below. So that way you can join us and be able to see past episodes. Hello, Sweetland63 on Instagram. Good to see you. Good to see
Hey,
you.
hey, hey,
Hey, hey,
hey.
hey. Tuning in from Brooklyn. Who else is in the chat? Go ahead and put where you're tuning in from. And also, like always, I want to before we talk about the weekend, I want to just bring up the fact that we are not alone in what we do. We are part of a network. One of the networks that we're a part of is called the Alive Podcast Network. So if you're not familiar with it, the Alive Podcast Network is basically this group of voices that are speaking out in the podcast space, black leaders and others that are speaking. And so there's a total of many different podcasts out here, first of all. But just to show you, we're right over here. If you want to check it out for yourself, all you got to go to is a live podcast network or a livepodcast.com, livepodcastnetwork.com. So you can check it out for yourself and see the list of others who are in this space. So definitely check out a live podcast network to see all the other people that are in the building. Now, let me go to the comment section because we do got some people that are here. And so I do want to bring up the fact that we have, we do have Stephen, Broward County, Florida, rise and grind. I hear that,
Hey,
rise and
yeah.
grind. So to get you, Mr. Cinematic. So glad to have you. Oh, we got Ty Smith in the building. Good
Hey,
morning from the
good
brethren.
morning.
Good morning. So glad to have you, man, on the show. And
Great
let's
people, great people.
great people indeed. And so I want to make sure that we are shouting you out here as the show continues. And also, if you want to share about your weekend, that's what we're going to be talking about next. So definitely let us know how your weekend went. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to you, Trey. How was your weekend?
Man, long, a little long. Had to do a little moving this weekend,
Yeah.
so uh yeah, literally that's it. It was just long, man. I did get to see a little bit of the Cowboys get stomped into the ground, and my heart is not as sad because I think I told you a long time ago, man. I just had the epiphany one day. I was like, yo, if you can't buy stock in these privately held companies, these NBA teams, this NFL teams, why are you letting it get to your heart like this? You you
Mm-hmm.
you can't own a piece of it. And I just had to come to that realization. So now I just watch, and if they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. If they lose bad, I ain't wearing my gear, It's just it is what it is. But I did watch Pat Mahomes, man. I watched them squeeze one out, like literally, at the very end of the game. Um, the other team missed the field goal, and that would have put them ahead. And so that was a crazy one. So now they're still and oh, and so we'll see how long that journey goes, man. That dude is a beast. So yeah, man, that was my weekend in a nutshell. After church, same old, just back to getting stuff organized and set up, man. But yeah, that was it for me. How about yourself?
Now I hear it. A long weekend it was. In regards to Saturday, it was a blur. I'm actually going to be leaving today to go on a trip, and so for work, and so I was just kind of focusing on that a bit, and then also volunteering and serving at my church on Sunday. So that was pretty much it. My wife was out for the day. She was actually doing a pray and paint with her mother. Pretty cool
That's
event.
hilarious.
Yeah,
My wife did the same thing on, I think it was Friday, or yeah, Friday or Saturday.
it's
Friday.
getting around apparently. So, uh, but it was a
Makes
lot
sense.
of a lot of fun according to my wife, and so they had a good time doing that. And And so, yeah, that was my weekend in a nutshell. But there's a lot of things that were happening this weekend and this week, and just kind of before we get the show started, one of the things that did happen that at least I was aware of this weekend was the New York, New Jersey forest fires. It's been
Oh,
serious. Yeah, it's like 2,500 acres already
oh,
burned. Yeah, it's pretty big news in that regard, and it's gotten worse because we haven't had any rain in a while. So the pretty much the root systems now, that's the issue. They can't see the fire now. The fire's underneath the ground, and it's spreading from root
oh,
system to
snap.
root system. Yeah. So they're just saying, hopefully we get some steady rain because it's not looking
Underground.
good. Yeah. So thoughts and prayers for those that are affected by the fire. If you know anybody that's affected by the fire, let us know for sure. And we got Bryce in the building. Bryce Jordan. I know. Wow, is indeed. That's what I thought of when I saw the
Yeah,
news
that
about that.
dude, that sounds crazy, man. How do you? I
Yeah.
mean, can they smell the smoke, or is it just boom? One day it's up under your house, just going crazy.
Well, I think what it is that they could see it, but the way it's spreading is through the root
Yeah, it's
systems
just
now.
underground. Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
see.
so it's like
I
they
forgot you
could
said it was the forest, so
yeah,
it's not with like homes and stuff. Okay, that's good.
but it's getting
Okay.
close. It's getting close. It's affecting a lot of
Oh,
people and the air quality in the tri-state area
it's getting
for
crazy.
sure. So yeah, y'all check out that if you're not aware of that. If you live in the tri-state area, because the air quality is being
Mm.
affected, they might have certain warnings coming out, and you want to know why. Similar to when we had the Canadian fires, I think it was last year. That's what's happening here. So definitely check that out for
And I was
yourself.
just and I was just about to ask if y'all were getting like cold or like y'all having to pull out the Gore-Tex and all that kind of stuff yet.
Yeah.
But apparently not.
Well, no. Here's the thing: the weather is definitely one that fluctuates. So there's sometimes in the morning you might have to wear a little something, and by the afternoon you're like, "Where's my tank top?"
Yeah,
It's weird
yeah.
weather out here right now. A couple
But
more things before we start, though. I don't know if you know this, but the guy Elwood Edwards, and I'm going to put this below so everybody can see it. But Elwood and it's very interesting. Elwood, I don't know if you remember, You've Got Mail. Back in the day,
yeah, yeah.
he actually was a voice of that. He passed away. The voice of AOL's iconic greeting, "You've Got Mail," unfortunately passed away at 74 years old. I didn't know it was a particular person, but it makes sense
Man,
because
that was
back then
young. Yeah. Yeah,
they
they
didn't have
definitely
AI.
didn't have AI. Definitely
Yeah,
not.
yeah. So
I wonder I wonder, let me see what this guy looks like. Let me see. Let
well,
me see,
I'll
man.
bring it up. I'll bring it up.
Okay,
Let me
okay.
bring it up for everybody to see. But yeah, he passed
I
away.
wonder,
I don't even know a
well,
lot
I
of
know
people are
he
around
probably
to
he
see it.
probably did. My mind, I don't know why my mind kind of goes this way anytime I hear stuff like this, but I wonder did he set up a deal, man? If he set up a licensing deal
That would have been
where he gets a little cut of every time one of those got sold, because you had to well, back then didn't you have to download the stuff on there?
oh yeah.
Or no,
Oh yeah.
that was AOL, that was for the mail, right? So
Who remembers AOL?
man,
Who had an AOL account? Let's just see how many
I would have
people are
had the
around the age.
I definitely did. But it was
I
just
did.
literally so I could get on like cartoon websites so that I could play games.
Yeah.
um yeah, well, that's crazy. I wonder did he have some kind of licensing deal set up, or did they just be like, yo, we'll give you $20 just say you got mail.
That would be amazing, right? That would be amazing. We got a buddy in the building. We got Tech Coach Ralph. He said, "Buenos dias, bonjour, surpassing." Good morning. So
Good
glad to
morning,
have
good
you
morning.
with us, brother. He said we had a compulsor, which AOL later bought. Yeah, yeah. That's taking it back. So if y'all had an AOL account, we know that you're part of our generation. Y'all don't know the struggles of waiting for that dial-up like we did.
Oh man. Bro, and when I say playing those cartoon video games, right? I mean, like sometimes it's glitching to get through, but I'm still playing. I'm still playing.
Yeah, man. So that's some news that we have. I just wanted to share with everybody because in case you didn't know, this is part of our history. This is part of our history. This is part of our actual history that we lived through. And so I thought it was a pretty cool thing for us to talk about.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then if y'all didn't know, I'm counting down to Thanksgiving in Washington D.C. So definitely Thanksgiving, 30 days away. If you have not gotten your tickets, get your tickets for that. You definitely want to be there for sure. All right. So I know we got a lot of things before we started the show, but we're not going to delay it. We're going to get right into it, and we're going to talk about the
Well,
first subject. Oh, go ahead.
I did want to briefly. I didn't realize it, I forgot. But I did want to briefly acknowledge, today's Veterans Day. Um,
Yes.
Definitely wanted to give a shout out to all the veterans out there in the military, right, for your service, for your sacrifice.
Yes.
Because I always say, man, I love paying the taxes because somebody has to be out there on the aircraft carrier. While I'm sleeping good at night, somebody's up and watching and stuff like that. So I know it's not me. I'm just not one of those dudes when it comes to being in the military. But I thank y'all. I got plenty of members in my family, so definitely appreciate y'all for sure.
Absolutely. Happy Veterans Day. I totally missed that. I have literally cousins, siblings that served. And so thank you all for your service. And I mean it from the bottom of our hearts for sure. Good catch before we started the show. But yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And, speaking of taking a stand, New York Times tech workers strike back. And I wanted to actually let you have the floor, Trey, so you can share this story with everyone.
Yeah, man. So the New York Times, I know y'all have heard about it, even if you're not from New York. I know I have. But anyways, the New York Times Tech Guild, representing over 600 tech professionals, they initiated a strike on November 4th, 2024, just one day before the critical presidential election. And you're probably like, well, why does that even matter? Well, if y'all do realize, um, it's the New York Times, so I'm sure that is something that they would have potentially, wanted to have some great coverage on, to go down in history like normal. But again, they set up that strike right before the day. That strike actually marks a huge event in labor relations, as one of the largest strikes of tech workers in the U.S. Today. So basically, y'all, basically this strike, it actually was strategic. They, like normal, right? It did coincide with this high traffic news cycle of election day and all the stuff that goes before and after it, right? And basically the tech guild members, they're basically saying, like, look, they're responsible for all the back end systems and the support that goes into creating that digital side of, the Times operation, and including like the mobile push alerts, all the app and the website maintenance, and then the election reporting infrastructure, right? They actually get that kind of stuff as well. Now, one of the main issues right here that they're talking about, like the reasons for the strike, the main one, job stability concerns. I think Tech Coach Ralph just put something in the chat about. Uh, oh, okay, no, never mind. But anyways, job stability concerns, salary increases, return to office policies, inclusion of just cause clause in their contract, pay equity, and limits of subcontracting. So they going for the whole thing. They like, look, if we're gonna go on strike, we're gonna do this thing and we're gonna get everything squared away. So basically, as of the 10th or yesterday, the strike was still going on, and negotiations right now between the Tech Guild and the New York Times management have actually continued all the way into the night on the 3rd, but it failed to reach an agreement, and so they still hanging on. So anyways, right now the company, they did respond, right? New York Times, they responded. They said they got robust plans to put in place to continue service to readers, and they proposed a 2.5% annual salary increase. They offered a minimum 5% raise for promotions, and they're suggesting a $3,000 ratification bonus. Obviously, at this point, they like, eh. So outside of the strike, the Times election coverage, including that real time needle tool that they have, wasn't significantly disrupted, and the company's reporters and editorial staff, who are normally represented by a separate union, continued work on the election coverage. Interesting. So
Yeah.
y'all, again, real quick, this strike is a part of like that long history of labor disputes at the New York Times. They previously had strike that a 1-day walkout by the Times Guild in December of 2022. They had a 114-day strike back in 1962, the International Typographer Union, and then an 88-day strike in 1978, the Printing Pressman Union. Man, I bet they uniforms was fire. The Printing Pressman Union. I could see a whole outfit with the hat and the I bet they had that joint on lock. Anyway, y'all, this is interesting stuff right here. The main part that I thought was interesting is the fact that despite the strike, this was a coordinated event, y'all. They did this on purpose right before the election. Despite that strike, the Times election coverage was not significantly disrupted. I don't know. That's hilarious. Tech Coach Ralph was like, "Do any of y'all actually have a paid subscription to the New York Times?" Yes and no. Yes and no. Nah, here's why I say that. Listen, man, Chat and Perplexity have taken over my search engine. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can add Chat GBT as the go-to for search. Why would I have the New York Times on there? I'm not from New York, so it is what it is. I can get all the same news. You know how they hit the stuff. Well, Mitch doesn't know. I don't even know if he's here today, but you know how they send you the little updates on the different stories, and then you click on them, and then you can only get through half of it unless you sign up for like the New York Times and stuff. I just go and find the rest of it. So no, don't have a paid subscription to the New York Times. And obviously, with this strike, they're still able to get stuff done. So I don't know if it was a good move. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I was thinking about a few
Oh,
things, and I want to go to this comment right here. He said, "I think Perplexity is offering to take over the tech workers who are on strike." You know what's so ironic about that?
interesting.
The New York Times sued Perplexity because of the bad safety that you're talking about, where basically
uh,
it's like, hey, you're leaking out information. People got to pay for that subscription. And I know that for one, when it comes to the websites, New York Times is definitely the biggest gatekeeper. You can't
they
get
are.
you
Yeah,
cannot
man.
get far into hearing that news without paying a little something. But I
You got
understand they have
to.
to have overhead and stuff like that. They have to make sure that they take care of it. When you were talking though, that one thing that made me put up my quotation marks is, what is that needle that they're referring to? Do they have an AI tool that they're using?
No, I don't know. I thought maybe I personally don't know, but I thought maybe it was something like that real time. You know how they have like it's showing the states and all that stuff, and when they're
Yeah.
changing colors, I thought maybe it has something to do with that. I have no clue.
So they're leveraging
Um,
technology to get the job done. These kind of shifts could lead to them to other things happening, like how we saw the strike with the dock workers because
mhm.
of the rise of technology and AI. There are people that are in the logistics arena who are creating things that can do their job, and so we see the way that technology is moving and how fast it's moving. Tech workers being on strike is they're on strike for a reason. But I'm gonna go to the comment
Yeah,
section because a lot of people have
yeah,
stuff to say. Tech Coach Ralph said, "Mitch only shows up if I drop his beat."
that's
So that
hilarious.
the beat's coming soon, I believe. Then we have Tech Coach Ralph that says, "I just read that they sent them a cease and desist October 15th. Yep, for perplexity.
That was last month, man. That was a month ago. About a
Yeah,
month ago.
yeah, not a week.
That's
One,
hilarious.
and then we have
That's
LinkedIn user.
hilarious.
I'm sorry, LinkedIn user. It just comes across like that. So I don't know. Technology just didn't put your name out, but I never subscribe because they only gave you a tiny blurb. True.
That's
I
right.
do the same thing. Just grab a similar article elsewhere.
So
Ah,
easy.
Look, you see
Like,
New York Times. Hopefully, you're paying attention. This is a
well, I mean, when you're New York Times size, you don't care about that, right? You
yeah,
you
yeah.
have you have people who may be I don't know, 55 to 85 that are like, I don't care what anybody says. New York Times
Mhm.
is goated. I'm gonna pay until I pass away. So they don't care about that. They don't care about that.
But you just said something very interesting in regards to the time, in regards to the age range, right? You're saying 55 and
Hmm.
above. What's going to happen to them when they, God, the time's going to come. We're all going to go eventually. But what's going to happen to the time when that generation starts to fade out, and the newer
Yep,
generation is so used to perplexity and other things? What does the New York Times do to adapt to that?
bro.
I mean, mm,
If I was them, look, you got to change with the change, and so many of our super huge or large, longer standing establishments don't do it, and they don't do it well. If I was them, I probably would have. I would have took perplexity up on a, like, I would have not on the not on the workers, right? But
yeah,
I would have used that opportunity to have a different conversation. Like, maybe
yeah,
you have a New York Times side of perplexity,
hmm
like you
partnership.
got to bro. You gotta partners. You gotta do something that is going to get you in front of the eyeballs that you need to continue to push yourself forward, or else you're going to die out. So I don't know what they're going to do, but what I
Hmm.
do know is I don't know if it's because I'm not from New York. I would never just be like, oh, let me only go get this from the New York Times. So listen, I don't know. I would do that though. If I was them, I would have figured out some kind of way to get some kind of widget, or like in real partnership, so that I'm always sticking around, so that you
Yeah.
continue to see my name and face. But
Yeah. We have somebody else in LinkedIn user that says sound like a future blockbuster situation. Mm,
at some
mm,
point,
mm, mm.
maybe, man. I mean, because it's like, sometimes you just got to start doing certain things, not all the way, but like your older users might not like it might not like it as much, but you're also thinking for the future, because
Yeah.
at some point, yeah, they are gonna die off, and you don't want to wait until all of them are gone and pass away, and now you want to try and revamp and um reach the younger audience. Like,
Yeah.
I would have been doing that now. You like, hey, uh it's a whole section of New York Times that the older audience don't even probably know about, unless you like really about that life, or you hip, right? Like, I have the New York
Yeah.
Times merch. I would be partnering with these other AI companies to get this news out, right? In partnership with the New York Times. Like, listen, I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, and I got a few more comments from Tech Coach Ralph regarding the needle being the election needle. Okay, yeah, I remember that. Like CNN, and a few others had that where they basically were monitoring what was going on. But you can find that you can find that on Google too. You just search Google like candidate elections, and they had it too.
Yep.
So I see why they're what you're saying, how were able to get by. New York Times should have a contingency plan. I don't like threats or being held hostage. Mhm. Yeah, that is very true. That is very
Yeah.
true. So contingency plans are important. But what are your thoughts, y'all? There's definitely a lot that could be said about this because the implications don't have to be just with the New York Times. So in regards to that, I had a question here. And how might the New York Times tech guild strike during the presidential election impact future tech industry labor negotiations, especially around demands like job stability and pay equity? Considering the rise of technology, AI, and all the things that are going on. So something to keep an eye on, and watch out for. But definitely something that we
Mm,
could talk about in general.
I don't know, because obviously they were still able to continue going forward.
Yeah,
So I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with some kind of deal, right? Like, obviously, whatever they put in place at first, the 2.5% annual increase, um, and all the other stuff, the $3,000 ratification bonus. Obviously, that wasn't what they were looking for. So I'm sure they'll come up with something. But I mean, at this point, you know, uh, a lot of times what we saw it a few months ago, right? When with the not the election, but the debate,
Yeah.
when they I don't know who, I can't remember what station it was or the channel, ABC, who was it? They
Mm-hmm.
had the deal that wasn't going through with Dish Network or Direct TV. It was one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and so people couldn't watch that, right?
Yeah.
It's technically, obviously, they had other places that they could have watched it, like YouTube, but
Yeah.
so I don't know how it will affect going forward. I don't know.
Yeah. We will see. We will see. And if you are interested in jumping on anytime, feel free to call into the show. This is specifically if you're on YouTube, you can be able to find that link right there to call into the show. So definitely, if you're interested in jumping on and chatting with us about any subject we touch today, go ahead and do that. Now we're going to go to another segment that we love, which is the Black Tech Global Powered Bulletin Board. And if you're not familiar, the bulletin board in this segment, we basically go through tech events, conferences, and networking mixers that are coming up that we want to make sure that you are aware of. There are plenty on the docket. So definitely get ready, wherever you are. So November 12th, which is tomorrow, there's a virtual event of SIDI Tech Talk, Black Engineers Founders. That's $0 right there. Afro Tech is this week, so if you haven't bought your tickets, definitely check that out. It's going to be the 13th to the 16th in Houston, Texas, for $450 starting, and it's the Mega Bowl or the Super Bowl of, I should say, of Black Tech events. In regards to November 13th, is Tech, the Houston and Dell Mixers. So a lot of events are happening around Afrotech. Blackout is having one on the 14th. That's $0. The Tech Mixer is about $25 for that. 14th also is Black Tech Social Mixer in Houston. So if you're in the Houston area, you got a lot going on. That's $10. They're getting into it.
They
$10
getting
for that
to it.
one. Yeah, it's a lot. And we got Ad Caller 24, Los Angeles, California. That's the 14th to the 16th. Then there's also just want to read through a couple of things that are happening. November 18th, there's Black of Tech Friendsgiving Tech Mixer. That's in Washington, D.C. on the 18th for $25 for that event. Going to Data for Black Lives Conference, also Miami, Florida. That's actually going to be $150 for that around November 18th to the 20th. So it's more than just one day. Check that out if you're in the Miami, Florida area. We also have Diversitech, another mix in Philly for $10. And then Black Travel Summit in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for $350 for that one from November 21st to the 24th. And so that's the rundown for this week. But definitely go to blacktechglobal.com for more so you can definitely see it for yourself. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to really understand what this means. Talk that tech, metal, yellow, first, red is greater than New York Times. I appreciate that, man. I think trying to shout us out. Well, we're trying to bring the news to y'all the best that we can, and of course, you're part of the team pretty much at this point, Tech Coach Ralph. So, yeah, man, we are trying to do our best to bring the news and rise above the ranks. And speaking of rising above the ranks, Nvidia, if you have not heard, the world's largest company, they have
I don't know
taken
how you haven't.
they could take it they took it, I should say, from Apple. And so they definitely had decided to grow in that matter. And so it's pretty much for what we see as of right now, that is what's happening here. So we're gonna talk about that real quickly. Let us know your thoughts. In fact, I'm gonna put this question here, as you're listening to this, what does this say about the future of the tech industry? All right. So basically, NVIDIA has recently claimed the title for the world's largest tech, largest company, forget tech, company by market capitalization, surpassing Apple. And the shift underscores significant impact of AI, right? And
Yeah,
so
buddy.
of AI. And so wow, this is crazy numbers, but I'm going to read it to you. As of early November 2024, NVIDIA's market cap reached approximately $3.73 trillion. Market will increase attributed to its dominance in AI. And the company's stock also seen a 2.9% rise, closing at $139.93 per share. And so this growth trajectory has been staggering, with NVIDIA's stock price increasing over 850% since 2022. That's insane. So
Yeah,
factors
buddy.
behind the growth. Yeah, and yeah, it's just get if you haven't had your. I'm not giving no stock advice, but you can see the writing on the wall.
Listen, y'all, like not even gonna count. It was like they going crazy right now. No
They
stock
are.
advice, but
Yeah.
this might not be the best time to get in because it's already at the super high, right? Maybe 25-30% when it goes back down, jump
Mm,
in there. Or you can dollar cost average in there just a little bit, every couple weeks, every week or something. But this is definitely one you want to be at, right? This is going to be in the future. Is they get into the bag, and you can be a part of that. Also, I will say this: I read a thing yesterday while I was just going through some stock news and stuff, bro. If you would have invested $1,000 in 2016,
man,
almost 150 racks today.
jeez. Talk about an
Almost
ROI.
150 racks today. Yeah, so they get into it, man.
Yeah,
And
man.
when you watch their CEO talk that talk, listen,
Fearless.
he get into it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I listen. That again, that's unsolicited advice. We're just
Oh yeah, no, don't
reacting
buy.
to this. We're
I
reacting
don't
to
know
this.
anything.
We're
That's it.
reacting to this. Oh, we got Mitch in the building. Mitch says, "What's up?"
What
As
up,
you
man?
can see, the stock prices for Nvidia is. And then Tech Coach Ralph says, "Remember how many people said the same thing about Tesla about 6 years ago?" LOL.
Listen, and I mean, look, I don't care. Same. I mean, while we're on the topic, that right now is super high as well. But also, I don't care what your um y'all. Or I'll put it like this: y'all know he was with Trump, so he won. So y'all know his stuff is going to do some numbers. That's all I'm
Mm,
saying.
mm.
That's all I'm saying.
He positioned himself.
He wasn't just with him for nothing. So when you can, if you haven't already, you're right, Tech Coach Ralph. They did say that 6 years ago.
Mm.
But one thing you can't doubt, he knows how to make that stuff move, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And then in regards to people who may not be familiar, what really kind of helped their growth is the AI demand. NVIDIA is best known for its graphics, its GPUs, its graphics processing units, which are crucial for AI applications and machine learning models. So as you can imagine, everybody that's looking to do AI, a lot of them will probably come to NVIDIA for that processing unit. And then also technological advancements as well, and the innovations in AI chips and foundational models have attracted a wide range of clients, including major tech companies and firms like Microsoft and OpenAI. So listen, they're right there in the market there. These partnerships have solidified its status as an indispensable component of the AI ecosystem. Wow,
Just
that's
saying.
crazy. So that
I'm
it's
just saying.
just that point alone makes you like what you just said. Like it's so true. Like you got to get in. It's almost like, okay, again, not giving advice, but
Oh
just
no.
thinking about myself right now. Man, like that's so tempting to get into because of the fact that they're really right there in the market. You kind of have to go through them almost, or not
Yeah,
have
I
to, but
mean,
they're
and
right
when you
there.
think about those the old chip companies, man, they're not moving as fast as them and
Hmm.
pushing like I said, when you hear him talk, they're like, yo, every like we're coming out with a new one every year, like, and they're getting it done. It's not like they're just talking, like they're actually doing it because they have a different way of getting of a different process. But
Yeah.
yeah, these old chip makers um are looking like the New York Times right now, uh,
Oh man. Oh man, this and the last thing I'll say, and then I'll open up the floor to everybody because I want to hear your thoughts, Trey, and everybody else's too. Market dynamics. The competition among tech giants have intensified with Apple facing challenges. So Mitch rejoice. In maintaining its previous leading position due to slower revenue growth and increased competition from companies heavily investing in AI. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So, with that being said, I'm definitely going to open the floor, y'all. What are y'all thoughts? There's actually a few comments here. that I just wanted to bring up here. Techo Drop said my numbers jumping higher than Kobe, LBJ, and Jordan combined.
Listen, that mean his numbers is on Vince Carter status.
Air Vince Carter. Oh man. But what are your thoughts, y'all? I'm gonna go ahead and throw out this question in the chat. What does it say about the future of the tech industry? Let's just start there and let us know your thoughts. What does that say about what does this conversation say about the future of the tech industry?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, bro, this right here, but again, this going forward, you just have the writings on the wall. This is obviously the company that not only are they saying that they can get it done, but they're proving it, every quarter. And I think going forward, yeah, AI is gonna get better because of them. And also, y'all remember there are other companies that are behind them that are helping getting some stuff done with them as well, right? So what do you call it? They don't there's another company that makes those for them and along with everybody else. So that's also a good thing to look at, like what are those companies doing, how's that working? But yeah, I think going forward, Nvidia is they've already proven themselves to be one of the top tech companies right now, and it's just only going to continue to grow higher as these companies need more and more chips to again continue to push this AI sector and space forward, which obviously they're doing. Everybody's thinking about it. Everybody's trying to figure out how to do it if they haven't did it. So they position themselves in the right way. And if you haven't read their story or watched it, I would say go look at it, because it's a great story on how to pivot, right? Like you're in a space and they were doing good in a space, and then all of a sudden on accident you end up in this other space, the one they're in now, and numbers start jumping through the roof and their profit margins are crazy. So you know sometimes you're positioned well, or you're doing the right thing, and you're just not seeing those results, right? Maybe you're at a job or something, you're like, yo, I do this well, I love doing what I'm doing, but man, I don't feel the reciprocation here. Hit that little pivot a little bit, boom, and next thing you know, everything opens up for you. But it's a great story. It's a great story. But yeah, it's gonna get crazy, man.
Hold on, stop the presses. I
Oh,
just realized that we have a super chat in the building. Thank you, Andrea, for the super
hey,
chat. She said, "Good morning, y'all.
oh, appreciate you. Good
Love
morning.
your show. Thank you so
I
much for
appreciate
the
you,
love."
Andrea.
Yeah, because
That's
we got
good
bills
people.
too.
Good people. That's
You
good
gotta
people
pay.
right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I appreciate y'all. If y'all feel the need or desire to do so, feel free to do it. No pressure, y'all. We do this for the love of the game, but it does mean a lot because we do got bills to pay. And
For the
so
love of the game.
appreciate it though. But for the love of the game, we do this. So thank you, Andrea, for the super chat. Definitely means a lot, and we'll be going to good use for sure. Thank you so much. Oh, we got another comment as well from Stacy over on LinkedIn, who says more advancements in the cybersecurity industry in terms of expansion in jobs and in leadership roles is a great time to boost up your certifications.
It could be, for sure.
Skilling
Again,
up. Yeah.
maybe.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, you first. You first.
Oh, I was just gonna rehash what I just said. So go ahead.
No, I was thinking the same thing. Like, um, just being an SDR, or as I am in the tech industry, is great, and there's growth there to being an AE and so on and so forth. But it made me think about what you just said, like how other ways can we expand and grow and just kind of explore different areas or terrains. Cybersecurity being one of them, right? I have a cousin actually
Big
who
time.
works in cybersecurity. He actually is on IG. What up, Joel? I see him on
What up,
IG.
man?
Yeah, he works in cybersecurity, at least in that space, and so it's just like expanding your mind to see, okay, where do I need to pivot, or what areas might I be interested in to look into. So great point. Cybersecurity is huge. Everybody's gonna need it. So everybody does need
It's
it,
Yeah, I was about to say it's been huge. Like what's
Yeah.
crazy is, man, before I even knew it, like 4 or 5 years ago, I had no clue um how to get into this space or anything like that. I was talking
Mhm.
with a pharmacist friend of mine, where I used to sit across from her, and one day she was just like, "Yeah, my brother, he's in such and such. I don't even know where. I can't remember where he was, but
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what does he do?" And she was like, he's in sales for this cybersecurity company. He's making like $200,000 a year." And in my mind at that time, I had no clue about the space. I had no clue about what was possible. In
Yeah.
my mind, I was just like, oh, dang, you probably gotta, I mean, he's in cybersecurity. You probably gotta be super smart. You gotta have all
Mhm.
this stuff, the degrees and all this stuff. I was like, I didn't even think to ask her. I'm like, yo, hook me up with him. Let me know something.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know now, he literally was. I was probably 1 degree away from that. Like I literally could have done what I did and then ushered my way on in, but I just had no clue. It took a few more years. It took like a more information, and then you're able to see different things in a different light. But yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Tech Coach Ralph came through and he said, "Can't let Andrea Perry's super chat be lonely." I appreciate it, man. No, thank you so much,
Yeah,
man.
appreciate you.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
man.
thank you so much
Appreciate
for
that.
doing that. That definitely means a lot. Oh man, it's flowing in today. This is great. No, this is great. Thank you so much, sincerely, from the bottom of our hearts. Andrea
Yeah.
actually had another comment as well. She shared, "I love how you and Stacy mentioned this. I've been studying AI governance. Who knows what my next pivot will be?" And then she
Yeah.
followed with a laughing emoji for Tech Coach Ralph. But that's so
Yeah.
true. Let me
Yeah.
go back to that right there. What are your thoughts on that? Because I totally, that's such a smart move.
Yeah, that's being strategic in what do you call it? Like sheltering yourself or positioning yourself in a great space that's going forward. Like unlike the New York Times, right? But
Yeah.
like that's literally setting yourself up for the future. You're
Yeah.
thinking further ahead than just right now. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so I'm with that. Like, hey, how can I use what I have now or learn some skills that I can get now that can help me later down the road, right? Get into a space where I can position, because even if you're in cybersecurity, the government, the government is not going anywhere. But if you're in cybersecurity, all you have to do is look around. The writing's on the wall. Every month, actually, technically, probably daily or at least weekly, companies are getting hit through cyber attacks. Not just
Yeah.
companies, but obviously, that's what we're talking about here. But companies are getting hit daily through cyber attacks. You only see the biggest headlines, right? You only
Yeah.
see the MGM Grands and like the huge health companies. Those are the ones that we see
Yeah.
every day. It's small businesses getting hit like this, so
Mhm.
it's not going anywhere. Like it's only gonna, especially as we continue to get into a more digital society, right? It's only gonna get more and more intense on that side, and so it's not going anywhere. It's a great spot to be in. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And and then Andrea said absolutely. I mean, sorry, Stacy said absolutely, Andrea. I read that backwards. Stacy said absolutely, Andrea. So totally in agreement with that for sure. And we're speaking about talking about upskilling and actually being able to position yourself so that when you want to transition, you can transition into something new. Well, guess what? Salesforce is not waiting for that. They're actually
mm-mm,
taking the
mm-mm.
time to hire AI agents. That's right. You heard that correctly. Salesforce is actually hiring 1,000 AI agents, and we're going to be talking about that right now. So if you have any questions for that, definitely get those queued up because we're going to be talking about the 1,000 AI agents that Salesforce is hiring. And so I'm going to
Bro,
pass that back to
my
Trey
bad.
to.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
is that on me now?
Yes.
Hey,
All
it's
good.
early, y'all. It's early.
It is
Good
early.
morning. Good morning. No, yes, yo, Salesforce, they're hiring 1,000 AI agents. Now, think of that. That's that's interesting. The first thing that pops in my mind before I get into it is someone is prompting those AI agents. It could have
Yeah.
been you. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, Salesforce, obviously they if you don't know who they are, they're CRM or customer relationships manager. If you're in probably tech sales, you know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They have recently announced that they are hiring uh, basically an initiative aimed at its artificial intelligence product sales. Okay, so the company is planning to recruit over 1,000 new salespeople specifically to promote and sell its latest AI offering, Agentforce. Okay, so right now, Agentforce basically is a generative AI product that they actually introduced last month in October, and it's designed to provide anonymous AI agents that can perform a bunch of different tasks independently of you and their sales. So customer service, sales development. The product is basically priced at right now, y'all. Listen to this. It's priced at approximately $2 per interaction. They did that smart. Okay, that's all I can say. Anyways, so but they're making it accessible, like an accessible option for businesses that are looking to integrate AI into their operations, and then kind of get them indoctrinated and then scale up from there. Okay, so now the reason behind this hiring push, because remember we said they're hiring 1,000 people to
Yep.
get this AI agent force out there. The massive hiring initiative is driven by a few different things. Okay, so one, capitalizing on momentum. The CEO, he basically said they have amazing momentum for Agentforce, and they're trying to basically kill the market. Okay. Number two, competitive edge. So other tech giants and companies like Microsoft, they have this advanced AI, right? They've been like basically putting out different stuff as well throughout the year. Salesforce is looking to get a strong market position as well. So like they want to be up there with all the big boys when it comes to the AI side. A strategic shift. So now they're basically, this move will align Salesforce recent focus on autonomous AI tools, and then making that shift into this AI approach here on the customer facing side. So y'all, again, the impact on the industry that this gonna have is basically they're on a hiring spree right now, and it's having immediate positive effects on Salesforce. So check this out. Uh, after the news broke, Salesforce stock price, it went up by 2.5%, which
Mm.
is a record high following the news. Not investing advice, but just wait till it goes back down a little bit. You don't want you don't want to get in at the top. Okay. But it's just good news. It's a good sign. Investors are liking that. So anyways, implications for the AI in sales. This move by Salesforce is basically growing the importance of AI on the sales side in the sales industry. So
Mm.
AI driven tools, these AI driven sales tools, Agentforce represents a new generation of AI powered sales tools that are designed to literally automate and optimize different aspects of that sales process. Making it faster, making it more streamlined as well. So yeah, that's what they're doing here, y'all. It could be a good thing for the industry, or a little
Mm-hmm.
bad. I don't know. It depend on how you're looking at it. So, anyways, while the hiring initiative is showing that Salesforce is committed to AI, it's worth noting that the need for human expertise in implementing and selling the AI solution is still crucial.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
still crucial because people want to talk to people, especially when I'm spending my dollar. So this balance between AI capabilities and human skills is more than likely going to define the future landscape of sales and CRMs like Salesforce. So yeah, we'll see what happens there, y'all.
Before I
They
say
hiring.
anything, They're hiring for sure. Before I say anything, I'm going to go to the comment section because there's a lot to be said about this topic. We got
Hit it
Stacy in
up.
the building that says this is a great opportunity to get in on the AI movement at the ground level.
See,
Major,
that's
according
thinking
to
right
Stacy.
there. That right there, it made me think of one of my favorite movie line quotes. That's gas money, Ray. Think. They thinking right there. That's thinking, Stacy. That's thinking.
Oh man, where do I begin? Because I actually work with a company that produces similar products. So AI voice agents, or voice virtual agents, as we call it, and other things that are part of the contact center within
So you
major
saying y'all
companies.
already doing that? Is you saying y'all already doing that? Is that what you telling me?
I'm saying we are already doing that,
Hmm.
and we're
I got
proving on
something to say about that after you finish.
yeah, we're proving on an enterprise grade level. So I won't even go to the number of companies, but if there's a company in the industry that's high up there in your mind, we work with them. Um, So there's a lot that could be said about this. One of the things that I did see though that I thought was very interesting is that besides customer service, they're saying SDR. So sales development, they're pushing into the B2B side of things. And so this goes back to Andrea's point, and I'm going to bring it up in regards to actually both Andrea and Stacy, but what she said here about I'm going to take time to study AI governance. Eh, For all my SDR BDRs out there, this is a great sign to upskill. This is a great sign to upskill because if Salesforce, being as huge as they are looking to specifically not only touch customer service but also touch the areas such as uh, being an SDR. That's very interesting. I think that there's so many nuances into those type of B2B conversations. Maybe the initial one you might be okay with speaking with the AI that's an SDR to set up and book that meeting. True, but there's certain levels of intelligence and nurturing and stuff like that. I'm just curious to see how they're going to go about doing it. That's kind of where I'm standing on right now. It's just that curiosity to see. Okay, well, customer service, I get that to a degree. Moving into the B2B side, I'm just curious to see how they're going to make that happen. But before I continue, I do have a couple of comments from Andrea. She said there's an Agentforce course in Trailhead. Yep, Trailhead has it as well. You can take it for free. So Trailhead, if people don't know, it's like a fun way to learn about Salesforce, where they basically you can go in there for free, try out different things, and be able to basically learn the product or various products that they have. And so that was a nugget as well. If somebody is interested in that, they
That's
can check
huge.
that
That's
out.
huge. Appreciate
Um,
that.
yeah, and then Andrea also said you can also make use AI to create your own agents and get experience. That's true. So for example, I don't know if Seiko Drop is here, but he kind of created his own agent with Delphi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And that agent was able to like ask screening questions for his potential clients. And so that's one way that you could leverage AI to help you get better at your job and actually make it a little bit easier. So that's great points. And then Stacy said this is the prime to upscale for sure. This is the primer to upscale for sure. And great information. Yeah, absolutely.
No, for
So
sure.
yeah, and then there's a thing, the customer service side again. I could see that. Um, there's just so no much nuances that the SDR and BDR do that when it comes to personalization because there's not just a call, it's an omni-channel approach. There's emails, there's LinkedIn, there's prospecting, there's that human intelligence aspect. So I'm just really curious about how on the B2B side they plan to leverage AI so that it really does get the job done versus
I'll
what
tell you this. I'll tell
is
you this.
going
They
to.
probably didn't tell us everything. They
Yeah.
probably didn't tell us everything that it's doing. So they got some up their sleeve that's gonna make this worth it for the people. But it's an interesting thing because uh like you all have mentioned already, this is one of those things where if you can't get in with them, you definitely need to check into the trailhead and at least get yourself acclimated to this process and or what it is, how it works. But
Mm-hmm.
listen, I could see someone getting in and being one of these 1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, and then busting their butt for 6-9 months, being one of the top people there in selling and doing this AI, right? Learning it
Yep.
inside and out. And now you've positioned yourself to when one of the big ones, right? When one of these other big companies come in, they're like, yo, this is what we are doing with AI, and you already know all about it. You already have the credentials, and boom, you can position yourself into, basically parlay that into, something greater. But um, it's, or then you can go into consulting for maybe other smaller businesses that might be looking and doing all this kind of stuff. So it's different routes.
Mm-hmm.
um the main thing is you definitely want to know about it. Like, you don't want to
Yes.
be sitting here on the sidelines and then watching these headlines come by like this, and thinking to
Mm-hmm.
yourself, what is that? Or I don't even know what that means, and then and then keep moving forward without ever going back to look and see what it is, because
Yeah.
that very thing could be the thing that takes you out of the game, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you're not careful. So I don't know. I mean, I I'm looking at stuff every day. So when I see stuff like Claude AI, literally able to, you give it prompts and it takes over your computer and does those tasks for you, right? Like filling in, I don't know, a CRM and all the information that needs to be filled in, and it's doing it for you on the computer for however many, you know, of people that you need to be filled. Like, this is just the beginning. Before I stop this soapbox, remember, y'all, everything you're seeing right now is the beginning. It's only gonna
Mm.
get better from here. It's only gonna get more like creative from here. It's only gonna get more intense from here. So, if this is blowing your mind, or if you're like, oh wow, that's crazy, imagine
Yeah.
6 months from now, imagine 12 months from now. Y'all remember last year, or maybe it was the year before, y'all remember that Will Smith video? It was the AI Will Smith video. It was Now these things are crazy, man.
We're literally seeing it in
Now
real
you
life.
can, I watched it, man. I watched a dude on Friday have a conversation with himself on Zoom, his AI self on Zoom.
Mm. Yeah.
This stuff
And
is wild, man.
how old was that video? How old was that movie? You know,
What movie?
the movie with Will Smith. Well, I
Oh
Am Robot.
no, no, not the movie. It was like a video. It was like an AI video that
Yeah.
they created on like Instagram or um TikTok. I can't remember which one it was, but it was basically like a short AI Instagram video that they created. But I'm
Yeah. No.
saying now,
Yeah.
if you redid that with the tools that we have now, just a few years later, it literally would look totally different. It would sound totally different. It'll look way more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Will was eating pizza. Yeah, appreciate you, Andrea. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember the whole thing, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and she also said, basically that it's the reason why it's able to do or operate as well because it's built on a data set, which is true with the way uh, these virtual agents, or in their case, their AI agents would operate. I wanted to share real quickly, in case people don't know, Trailhead is a website. You could go to the website if you want to, again, start for free and learn and get certifications or credentials, I should say, in Salesforce, whether it's being a
Yeah,
Salesforce admin or things of that nature. And then you get, like what she was saying earlier, you go the demand for AI skilled employees has skyrocketed. You could start learning on the website as well. So that's what Andrea was referring to. So I want to make sure everybody was kind of aware of what that is. We're not gatekeepers here. We want to share the information with everybody, so that way you could make a decision for yourself, right? Um, Really good conversation. I have thoughts that I have to keep reserved because of the nature of what I do, but otherwise, besides that, I just think that very good conversation, and I think that we definitely keep
oh
educating ourselves about this for sure.
yeah, bro. Last thing,
Yes, sir.
before we get to the last topic here, I wanted to say this. Remember, y'all, it's not always the best that it gets to the bag or makes all the
Mm-hmm.
money or eats up the market share. Most of the time, it's probably the best marketers. It's probably the best,
Yeah.
the people who can get their name out there, right? It's
Yeah.
sales and marketing. So you can have a lot of the best companies, they don't have great marketing. And so
Mm-hmm.
they're great at what they do, but nobody knows them. or not enough people know them. And then you have newer companies that come out, and then boom, all they're like, oh man, we've been doing this for years, right? Joseph companies, they've been had this. I don't know if everybody knows, but I know everybody knows Salesforce.
Oh
And
no,
so,
we just launched that not too long ago, but
oh, okay, oh,
we've
okay.
been in
I
the
was about
space
to
about
say,
7 years.
I'm like, y'all, I'm like, listen, that's a prime example, right? But okay, good. They just launched, so now you're just going head to head. So yeah, hopefully your marketing team has seen what Salesforce is rolling out, and they're gonna combat them. They're gonna get to it, and it's gonna be a head to head showdown. I'm rooting for y'all, man.
Yeah. No, I was going to respond to Andrea. She said, which Avatech event will be? Are you going to Avatech this year? No, you're not going, right, Trey? I don't
I'm
think you're
not
going.
going.
Right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm going to be away for work, so I won't be able to go this year. But there's tons of events that we covered in
A
the
whole lot.
a whole lot. They're having Diversitech is having a mixer around that. There's a few others that are having mixers. So if you are there, definitely check out blacktechglobal.com to just make sure that you are hip to what's going on around the area. But Andrea, I know you're plugged in, so you probably already know, or you can find out more. Mitch said that true. It's a shame. Just because you have the best marketing doesn't mean you have the best company. That's absolutely true.
That's see it all the time,
true.
bro.
That is absolutely true. And there's a lot that I could say, but I will not say for right now because of the nature of what I do. Come to my tech sales event on the 15th, Andrea. Ty Smith says,
that's where you need to be.
Ty Smith says, pull up. He's actually having a tech sales event on the 15th. So he says, pull up. And I'm pretty sure that he'll have it on his website, which is blacktechglobal.com, your premier source for tech events. So definitely check out Ty Smith's web page right there and for yourself. Now, listen, this has been an amazing conversation, and every day we appreciate you. Before we even go on to the last segment, I just want to acknowledge one more time the super chats that came through. One from Andrea. Thank you so much. Good morning. Love your show. That meant a lot. And then Tech Coach Ralph could not sit by and idly let that happen. He said, can't let Andrea super chat be lonely. So he offered as well to give. Thank you so much. Those proceeds definitely go to keeping the show running. So this is huge. I definitely appreciate that. Oh yeah, Caleb Burke is having something too. You and Caleb Burke would be the top of my list, Ty. That's what Andrea says. So this is awesome that the connections are happening right here. So now you know our segment that we love to do, our segment called the Brown Box Special. So we got that coming in hot for you right now. It's a short story, but one that might make you chuckle and laugh or cry. And if you are not familiar, Brown Box Special is either a story of somebody that got fired, let go, or quit. And this is our therapeutic moment to laugh at our pain because either we have experienced it or know somebody that is going through it or has gone through it, a similar situation. All right. So
maybe not this one.
Maybe not this one, but a similar situation. Oh man. So this one is from Reddit, and it says, we also had a little person quit. And when he left, he stole a car stereo. He moved his car next to the passenger side, opened both doors, and went to town. The neighbor across the street just watched him. could only see the top of his head. I had to call IT to get the security footage on a disc for the police and tell them the date, time, and camera. They asked me what he looked like, and I said, he's about 3 feet tall with red hair. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition or that response. Yeah,
cold as ice.
Quit and stole the car stereo.
Have y'all ever seen that? Have y'all ever seen somebody quit and then steal something on the way out?
Pencils and pens, papers and pens.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like I have. Like a lot of people don't think that kind of stuff is stealing. It is. You're stealing. If you're taking pens, if you're taking paper, you're stealing. I've definitely seen that. Not a stereo, but yeah.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, man.
Well, I tell you, there's a lot to learn in these different things. But yes, y'all, thank you so much again for rocking with us. One more time before we head out, if you are not familiar, I said it earlier, but again, it's been a long show. We are a part of a network, and that network is called the Live Podcast Network. As you see, Angel Reese is here. She was recently on Amazon AWS pitching the network and really kind of pushing this initiative forward. But there's so many people that are part of this network. Tamar Braxton, a few others that are in the space. As you can see, look at us over there, right there on the second row. But there's so many others that are part of this network. So if you are interested in finding other podcasts to listen to, go to the livepodcastnetwork.com, alivepodcastnetwork.com, and you might find a show or two that you find interesting that you want to follow, similar to ours. So go to the alivepodcastnetwork.com for more. All right. So thank you all for again rocking with us on this episode of Talk That Tech. We are so appreciative of it. Then Mitch added pens and pencils, tape and staplers. Those are
Yeah, man.
definitely a list of the things that people be taking. They be
I
taking
know
it.
y'all seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. And thank you again for rocking with us again on Talk That Tech, the
#1 tech morning show in the world, man. We're gonna see y'all next week.
yes,
Have a good
sir.
one.
Peace and elbow grease.